Well, it puts the investigators at a disadvantage because simply they don't have the information from the parties that are really most crucial to the reporting of the event.
In April, Alex Hunter steps in.
When we got to around April, and this case was stalled, the decision was made, we need to interview these people.
The police accuse Hunter of doing some unconventional, if not questionable things to get the interviews, which appeared to some to be favoring the Ramseys.
Did you give the Ramsey attorneys evidence to get the April interviews?
No evidence in this case was given to the Ramseys that was not the product of a joint decision between Kobe, Commander Eller, and my people.
The Ramsey attorneys say they want to see their clients' statements from December 26th.
It was a prerequisite to that interview, and I felt that was not giving up anything that I felt was significant.
But the police do. They believe Hunter is allowing suspects to review their statements for discrepancies. The relationship between the DA and the police begins to crumble. Like everything else in this case, the rift, as it becomes known, goes public.
You know, in the 25 years before this case came in, it was a cakewalk. So this has been a real challenge, which I feel grateful to have had the opportunity, believe it or not, to try to meet. It would have been very easy to go some different directions. You know, I mean, I had some people say to me, let's file a case, lose it, then you can write a book and make a couple of $1 million. You know, I mean, that's not how I think the American prosecutor operates in this country. And I'm proud to be an American prosecutor.
By 1997, the three sides of the Ramsey investigation, the police, district attorney, and the Ramsey team, were all pulling in different directions. Under the glare of the media's spotlight, the investigation began to buckle.
This media person asked me a question. He said, Tom, why are you so mad at us? And I said, I'm not mad at you. He said, don't you understand that we know the Ramseys did it and we're going to help you get them?
Things happen during the case that are often too strange to be believed.
I said, so you hear what you just said? How wrong is that? How scary is that? How in violation of everything that you're supposed to believe in is that?
The police and the DA are granting hundreds of media interviews to just about any reporters who ask.
Just so I bring it up, you know, I spent a good deal of time with Globe reporters. I'd never read a tabloid before this case. But, you know, your viewers need to understand the Globe had $1 million reward in this case. They were getting leads that the cops weren't getting and that I wasn't getting.
The Ramseys and the police seem to be waiting each other out.
You said that you waited and never had any word from the police about what was happening. 90 days passed without any word. Why didn't you call them?
We did.
A couple of times I called in the summer of '97. I mean, we were hearing nothing. Wouldn't you think that the parents should be updated every once in a while as to what's happening on their child's murder investigation?
It has become a case study in a homicide investigation gone wrong. There are now 3 investigations going on. One by the police, the DA, and the Ramseys. And none of the people involved are talking to each other.
I wouldn't necessarily say it's the most complicated case I've seen. It certainly is complicated because, you know, of all of the different players that you had in this thing that sometimes appeared to be at odds with one another when the common goal should have been just to investigate the case properly and, as I said, make sure that justice is served.
It's an extraordinary time that leads to unprecedented actions.
One day, this Commander Eller, came to me and he said, "We think you've broken into our computer in the war room." I said, "Oh, really? Who do you think did it?" He said, "Either you did it or your assistant did it." I said, "John." He said, "Alex, I have CBI coming in. They're going to investigate this."
The computers are investigated, but there's no sign of tampering. And then, another blow.
They said to me one day, "We're bringing in our own lawyers." I don't think that ever had been done in another case in the United States. And my feelings were hurt for about 3 minutes.
Equally insulting to the police, Hunter brings in his own investigator, a seasoned detective named Lou Smith, with a record of more than 200 solved homicides. But the strangest event in this strangest of cases has to be that 4 months after their daughter's murder, the Ramseys still haven't done an interview with the police.
Why didn't you give an interview before 4 months after the crime?
Well, we did. First of all, we met with the police on the 26th. We met with them on the 27th. We gave fingerprint, handprint, blood samples, hair samples on the 28th, I think it was.
On the one hand, I think they were cooperative about certain things that you and I know we get by law, blood, hair. But in terms of what they have a right to deny the government, it took us a while to get that.
April 30th, 1997. The Ramseys finally agree to their first interview with the police. They are both witnesses and suspects in their daughter's murder. Nothing that will break the case comes out of the interviews.
They are Detective Tom Trujillo,
By December 1997, there's a new police commander on the case, Mark
Detective
Beckner.
Jane Harmer.
One of the main topics at his first news conference is the police request for a second interview with the Ramseys.
It's been approximately 6 months since we last interviewed the Ramseys. During that time, there's been a lot of investigation. We've uncovered a lot of new information. We have a lot of new questions, and they can help us answer those questions. They have indicated every willingness to cooperate and have done so during my 9 weeks anyways, and so I expect that we'll get that done in the near future.
But it won't happen. It will be 3 years before the Ramseys and police talk again. They will do 2 subsequent interviews with the DA. Their only stipulation, to which the DA agrees, is that the police are not involved. The relationship between the DA and the police will improve with Mark Beckner in charge.
I think what is unacceptable is that it took us that long to get it back, and we lost some ground, and that's too bad. I'm not sure the case was compromised. I don't think it was, but we lost time.
But if the DA and the police eventually do get back on track, there will never be a ceasefire with the Ramseys. The confusion in the JonBenet Ramsey case has always been that the evidence is like an illusion. Look at it one way and someone who lived in the house did it. Look at it another, and it was an intruder.